welcome back to Game Galaxy, and today I'm talking about A Bird Story, the official second release from the genius mind of Ken Gao of Freebird Games. You've heard me declare my love for his other game To the Moon over and over again, and you know, every once in a while, there's a game that comes along that just transcends games and morphs into its own art piece, and that's exactly what A Bird Story is, pure art. And it's very hard to compartmentalize this into one genre, but if I had to slap a label on it, I would call it an interactive animated adventure film. Now, A Bird Story is a very compelling emotional story that has zero dialogue. Even without dialogue, the narrative is crafted so well that it leaves a lot of elements to interpretation for you as the player to draw your own conclusions and feel your own emotions. This story is a very short adventure, clocking in at just over an hour, averaging at 75 minutes, so in that regard I won't be giving you that much of an in-depth explanation of the story, as I feel this is something that needs to be experienced. The story begins with a young boy who seems to be a bit introverted and very much on his own. Like I mentioned, this game leaves a lot of elements to interpretation, and I interpreted that he's an only child being raised by a single mom who has to work, as she never seems to be home and she's always leaving notes and food for you. The story is told in a very surreal way, almost Miyazaki-like, but way better. At times you'll feel that you're recalling memories or in a dream, or that you're just experiencing the wild imagination of a young boy. One day on your way home from school, you come across an injured bird that's being chased around by a raccoon or a badger. The bird's wing is damaged and the bird isn't able to fly. After chasing off the raccoon, the bird jumps into your backpack and you try taking it to a vet, but there's no one there. You then continue on home with your new friend. The boy lets the bird stay on his balcony and he goes to bed, and later on that night, the bird sees another group of birds that are flying freely, and it seems he wants to join. The bird repeatedly attempts to fly, but is not able to due to its injury. The boy is awakened by the noise and watches from his window as the bird tries to fly again and again. It may not sound it as I'm describing it, but it's moments like these that are really emotional and start to pull on your heartstrings. The next day, you take the bird to the vet again and get him bandaged up. This is where conflict begins in this story, and I can't tell you much more beyond this point, but you do run off with the bird after it receives treatment, and as the game progresses, we are shown scenes of the bird and the boy bonding and becoming friends, helping him be able to fly again and search for a place for him to belong. The music of this game, the music, much like To the Moon, the narrative is driven by wonderfully composed music that is perfectly scripted to the story. I love it so much, it's so incredible. Ken Gao is an amazing composer. I love his style. And some reviews criticized the pace of this game, saying it was too slow, or the way that you walked through the story was too slow, but I have to disagree. I feel like the slow pace of the story and the way that you move through the story really helped sell that emotion and really hit that emotion in the right mood that it wanted you to be in. And Ken Gao has an amazing way of telling his stories where you have maybe a little bit of confusion and a lot of question marks through maybe the majority of the game, up until the end, where it will just hit you like an avalanche. This man knows how to perfectly make a story just come hard-hitting at the end, and I love it. So due to the short nature of this story, I can't really talk or show you much more other than say this is an incredible, ethereal, cerebral, and emotional adventure. I highly recommend this game to anybody who has a heart, enjoys fantastic stories, doesn't mind crying, and likes stories that leave a lot open to interpretation. I also recommend playing To the Moon before you play this game to get your head in the right headspace of the emotion of how these kind of games go. But that being said, you don't have to. They're drastically different experiences from one another, even though they look the same. And that being said, I love the 16-bit RPG adventure art style. So A Bird Story has become one of my favorite games of all time. You can grab it on Steam. It works on both Mac and Windows, so that's fantastic. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future. And always remember to spread your wings and fly.